All right, y'all. Thank you again for having me. My name is Michael Parks. I'm running for student body president as well. I'm going to talk literally as quickly as I can because of the timetable, so if I'm talking too fast, y'all slow me down. What I want to do as student body president is to engage, empower, and enrich the USC student body. One of the first things that I want to do is something called My Off Campus. Here at Carolina, 96% of our non-freshman students, so after your freshman year, you have to find somewhere to live. You know, unless you're an RM, a student athlete, or you live in a Greek house, you have to find somewhere to live. I have far, far too many friends who lived at places like the Hub, U-Oaks, the Retreat, I could go on, who have signed leases because they were given a free t-shirt and a cup that changes colors when they give it to you on Green Street, and then they hit you with a $200 fine to clean your ceiling fan, which actually happened to a dear friend of mine. Right now, we don't have a tool that our students can use to read and write their own reviews on off-campus housing options. Everybody's obviously familiar with Rate My Professors, right? I certainly use it every semester to figure out who to take, who not to take. Why don't we have something like that through my.sc.edu, as well as an app for our students to read and write reviews on landlords, housing options, and developments. It's really exciting because a week ago, a group of student developers here at Carolina started the coding process for an app for this. Whether or not I win this election, I hope I do. If I don't, though, I still want to bring this to our student body. So that's what My Off Campus is. The next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the It's On Us campaign. Sexual assault is an issue on this campus and every other college campus literally in the country. We do not have a student-led movement against sexual assault. Obviously, we have some amenities available through the university for victims, but we don't have a student-led movement. In my opinion, in order for anything to be truly effective on a college campus, it can't be led by an administrator or by a professor. It has to be led by the students. And currently, we don't have anything like that. And as president, I'm going to start It's On Us. A lot of other universities do it through their student government. Clemson does a great job with it. We don't do anything. That's It's On Us. Next is Carolina Kickoff. I love going to outdoor music concerts in the summer. I think a lot of people do. Right now, we don't have enough entertainment for our student body. We don't bring in any, big-time artists. Brad Paisley last year was great, but that was the first time really in a while here at Carolina that we've had anything like that. I want to do something, replicate what Mississippi State does. They call it Bulldog Bash down there. They've been doing it for 9 years. It's incredible. I could sit in here for probably 3 hours and tell you guys about all the ideas I have about Carolina Kickoff, which is what we're going to call it. But Carolina Kickoff will be the Friday night before the first home football game next year. What it will be like a 5 or 6 hour long music festival that we'll do either on the Strom Fields, the Green Street Fields. We'd love to do it on the Horseshoe, but I'm sure you guys know how picky the university is about who gets to do what on the Horseshoe. But we're going to bring in a couple big name artists, and it's going to be an opportunity for all of our organizations, Greek, non-Greek, philanthropic, multicultural, you name it, to come out, for the Daily Gamecock to come out and to represent what you guys are about, to promote what you guys have, and reach all the freshmen who will be on campus and trying to figure out something to get involved with. The night ends with a pep rally, and then we play football the next day. So it's a way to kick off our school year as well as football season. Final talking point, real fast, is a reformed game day experience. So a lot of people come to school here because of football games, me included. Right now, we don't really have any student input on what these football games are like. I don't know who plays some of the music that's played in the games. The student athletes have no say into what the game is actually like. I want to partner with SAC, which is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, in making sure that our student athletes have some say in what our games are like, and enhancing the entire experience for the athletes and the non-athletes, as well as advocating for concession price cuts, because maybe it's just because I'm a cheapo, but I don't like the fact that the university is getting these huge profit margins off of student concessions. If you want to charge my parents $5 or $4 for a bottle of water, that's fine, but don't charge me that much because I'm a student, and if I have my Carolina card, we should be able to work something out that those prices are a little bit different. We all pay a lot of money to go to school here. And finally, I want to bring back the House of Delegates. I'm probably out of time, but it's on the sheet, as you guys can see. We've had a House of Delegates before. It was ineffective because it was not managed correctly. If managed correctly by myself and my cabinet, the House of Delegates can be very, very effective, and it expands the scope of student government. So before, when it was in place here before at Carolina, the president would meet with them not weekly or even bi-weekly. And I don't think that it makes a lot of sense to have a House of Delegates if the president and the vice president isn't engaged in their initiatives. So we're going to do it similar to what it was before, in that it's student organizations are represented in the House of Delegates, and it helps them with their funding process, getting the funds that they need through us. But it starts with my cabinet helping to manage House of Delegates committees, basically, instead of just, let's get together, once a month and talk about what's going on. if that answers your question. USC student body has gotten so big. Every freshman class is bigger and bigger and bigger every year. Right now, student government is not a collection of leaders from all around campus. It's a collection of leaders. I think that we'll all agree on that. But it's not leaders from different sects of campus. And so, as student body president, we need to diversify what cabinet looks like. It doesn't just need to be students who came up through the ranks of student government who have done student government their entire tenure at Carolina. I've only been in student government for about a little over a year, quite frankly. I didn't do freshman council. I wasn't in Senate or anything like that. I got involved last year through the Congressional Advisory Board, and I guess here I am running for student body president. But I'm so frustrated with the way that student government is so unconnected to our student body. 1 out of 8 students even vote at Carolina. 1 out of 8, that's 12.5%. That's not on par with any other SEC school. I look at Georgia, LSU, Alabama, those numbers are closer to 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5. And I mean, the root of the problem is just that student government is not diverse and they don't do initiatives that anyone really cares about. The biggest thing that the majority of my peers think that student government did last year was debate the Green Street gates, and that was it. The vast majority of people who I talk to can't name who our student body president is and can't name one initiative that student government has ever done to make their experience here at Carolina any better. Sexual assault is obviously a huge thing. Making sure that our minority groups have a voice in student government. Every candidate's going to have an answer very similar to that. But what does that actually look like? It looks like making sure that every single minority group has a representative either in the House, has several representatives in the House of Delegates or in cabinet, and that it's not just, hey, I'm speaking to your organization today, I need your vote. It's, hey, I'm speaking to your organization today, I need your vote, and as president, I'm going to be here once a month, every month, to make sure that you guys are getting the funding that you need, that you guys are getting the representation that you need. It's more than just getting a vote. Yes, obviously call boxes are a very, very good system. We need more of them. So I want to, as the first week in president, I'm going to sit down with the chief of USC Police, who's a friend of mine, and we're going to address some of the things that USC has done the last couple of years that we've gotten better at, and some things that we still need to continue to get better at. Absolutely not. Are you talking about like the New York Times and stuff? Yeah, that really irritated me because I'm a huge print journalism guy, and I actually really like reading the Wall Street Journal every morning. That was very frustrating for me, even on cabinet, because we didn't talk about it at all. And granted, I don't really understand why student government had to fund the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, but that's still something that should be a conversation because it's a huge student service. So to answer your question, though, in terms of cutting a fourth of the budget, yeah, there needs to be a forum for students. If there's going to be a decision that's that monumental, there needs to be at least a conversation with the student body instead of, hey, we cut it, it's not around anymore, find another way to get your subscriptions. Well, first off, thank you all for coming today and let me talk your ear off for a couple minutes here. I'm running for student body president because I see a huge issue that only 1 out of 8 of our students vote. We are far, far behind all of our other SEC schools, and it's because student government does not have substantive initiatives. This time of the year, every year, we come to student organizations, we have our pitches, we have our speeches in line, we have our initiatives, we try to get votes, and then we don't ever come back again. And right now, that's the issue that this election is about. This election is about fundamentally changing the way that our student body looks at student government. Let's not have our student body look at student government just as the entity that debates the Green Street gates, that cuts the funding for the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. Let's have our student body look at student government and say, they actually did something that enhanced my experience here at Carolina. They did something called Carolina Kickoff, and that got me engaged in student government. That made me want to buy into those initiatives. And so, let me leave you with this thought. There are so many people that look at the way things are in student government here at USC and they ask why. My thing is that together, we can dream of things that never were. Things like Carolina Kickoff, things like My Off Campus, things like a reformed game day experience, things like It's On Us, and we can ask why not? Why not? Why can't we make these things a reality? Why can't we enhance the USC student experience? And why is student government truly not representative of our entire student body? So that's basically it. Thank you all again for having me.